Good morning, everyone. It's Trader Rob. Today is Friday, January 23rd. Hope everybody's having a great morning here. I am freezing my ass off here in Chicago. We are -7, and that's without the windshield here this morning. All the kids are home from school. They canceled school today. Had a big, meeting in the office today that got canceled. NQ's ripping. NQ is absolutely ripping. This was my line. We were down here that I knew that they were going to want to tap into here. All right, we'll get rid of that guy. We do got some news here this morning. I believe at 8:45 and at 9 a.m. So what do we got today? We got PMI at 8:45, and then we've got Michigan sentiment at 9 a.m. All right, so some areas of interest for me this morning on the NQ. We got a 5-minute level here at the 25,682.50. We'll see how price action reacts over here. We've got a 15-minute level above us at the 25,717. Couldn't really find any really good type of entry there. And then below us, we've got a great area here at the at this 15-minute level at the 25,516. I'm going to start including these 15-minute levels and 5-minute levels on the chart just so people can understand. I know a lot of people have been taking the volume masterclass, so I just want to kind of incorporate that so you guys can see the areas of interest that I'm taking my trades in. And then we've got another 15-minute level below us at the 25,474. So we'll see how those go. As far as the ES has got a nice 15-minute level here at the 69.59. This also corresponds with the, I believe I'm on the 45-day, yeah. The 45-day point of control right now. So this is going to be a very strong level of interest for the market. And then we've got a 5-minute level at the 69.1650. So we'll kind of monitor these and see what price action, how it develops. Took a really nice trade yesterday in gold. I should say last night. Gave a signal to my signal member group. That one smashed TP1, TP2. It's kind of a crazy trade. Let's see if I could probably grab one of my screenshots here. Let's see. Excuse me. So I gave a signal at the 4940.6, targeting the 4942.7 and the 4944. Posted the signal when price action was about right here. This dropped a good 500 and something ticks in a matter of 3 minutes. This is a 1-minute candle. And the only thing that was able to stop it was the volume sitting right here at the 4940s. That was real nice evening winner. But speaking of gold, I really don't have. They've done a really good job. I already kind of had my pre-morning prep with my signal group. They did a really good job of balancing things out, really here and all of this right here. So we kind of have to see what how price action develops here today. The only area that I would say right now would be this guy, but they've already balanced that out. Yeah, they've done a really good job of balancing everything out, which gold does. It's been really efficient at that. So yeah, all the kids are home from school today. Honestly, I don't think there's really any reason to leave the house today. It's actually it's -9 degrees right now, and that's without the windshield. Feels like -23. And I had to move the garbage cans. Actually, my wife did, but I did feel the cold. It's typically my job, but now that I'm doing the 7:45 live stream on Discord for the signals, did I say windshield? Wind chill. Now that I'm doing my signals, she had to do it, but I did feel the blast when she opened up the door from the garage. So she's probably laughing at me right now. Rob, good morning. Arshak, good morning. Coach Cleats, good morning. Blave 13, good morning. And I know CPS, which is the Chicago Public School, they shut down school today, which is kind of a big deal for when CPS shuts down. Pretty much everybody shuts down at that point. But we did get the email 3 or 4 o'clock, which my kids are ecstatic. Now they get a 3-day weekend. I feel like when I was a kid, we'd only get like a snow day if there was like 1.5 feet of snow. Now you just get some cold weather, and I mean, I get it. It's dangerous to be out there. Your car's sitting outside. If you're not in a garage, might not even start today. Then again, I don't really have that issue with my Tesla. It's the nice beautiful thing about electric. I will say the battery does go by quicker in the cold weather. So rough day in general yesterday. I finished off the stream -2R, so I was down about, I don't know, it was like 1900. Just some bad mental mistakes yesterday. One bad mental mistake. Took a short. Thought I saw footprint confirmation. I got the red footprint candle. I saw the green delta, but the green delta was on the bar, the previous bar. So took a nasty little loss there. Kind of chalked that one up, obviously, as user error, which is going to happen. Try to limit myself to those. Hopefully less than once a quarter, but so let's just say that my journaling wasn't great. Got off stream, got back on the charts at about 12, maybe 12:30. Saw a really nice setup in gold. And I then kind of invalidated in my head because I'd saw a previous sweep. And just the better of me, I don't know if it was just trying to get back some of that early mistake, which is a stupid way to trade. Ended up pretty much breaking all my rules on a smaller trading gold. I think it was like I don't know, maybe $600-700. So ended off the day pretty negative yesterday. Then I took a really nice gold trade in the evening, which obviously felt great. And then I guess we'll see how today brings. And you know, it's a nice thing about the group rotation that I'm doing now with all my fundeds and my cash, even though yesterday, I got to admit, yesterday was group 3. I did not listen to Grok's recommendation. I thought I would be smarter than Grok. And so I've got like group 1, it's got my secondary live account with NinjaTrader. Group 2 has got my main, so it's each group is each day. And then group 3 has got both of my cash accounts attached. So that was group 3, and that's what corresponded with yesterday. So I took a little larger than normal loss on both accounts yesterday, and obviously all of my fundeds that are in that group, which I'm okay. Those accounts were all in the green, so. But the beauty, what I was trying to get at with that was, the nice thing is that you have a day like that, and not 27 or 26 accounts are all felt that. Only, I guess yesterday, with including the last one, 8. Only 8 of them felt that mistake. The other 18 or 17 did not feel that mistake, did not feel that red. So there is definitely something to be said about that type of strategy. Grok's recommendation was for me not to attach 2 of my cash accounts on the same day. And I know I've mentioned this to you guys already, but market's not doing much, so I get to talk. My feeling of why I overwrote that was that I've been trading 26 accounts, 25 accounts for the longest time. And I said, okay, one day could be my, like, maybe a little overexposure day. That's the right word to say it. And regardless, they're still in the green from just doing this grouping strategy. Probably started that early January. So it's been probably a good solid, what is it? It's actually not early January. Started on the 12th, January 12th. So group 1 has traded 1, 2, 3. Today would be my 4th day trading group 1. Group 2 and 3 have both been traded 3 days. All right, here's your 8:45 news. So PMI came in a little worse than expected. Forecasted was 52.9. Actual was 52.5. Manufacturing came in just 1/10 of a point lower. And then remember, we've got University of Michigan sentiment at 9 a.m. So I got a question in Signal member group. What are your guidelines around taking trades prior to news and the open? So my general rule of thumb is anything 5 minutes pre-market open, and then the following 10 minutes after the market open are typically no-go zones for me. And you will typically see a lot of the algorithms, really big position players getting into their positions around that time. So it skews volume a little bit, and I don't put a lot of weight into news events. So like break of structure on the news events, I'm typically not charting out. I typically don't chart out the opening move. You know, today we've obviously not have really any break of structure on any of the moves, but on a typical day where we get that, you know, strong pattern to the upside, I won't put a lot of weight into that, just because of the fact that there's so many larger volume makers coming into the market at that time that it really does skew volume for me a little bit. So, and then the same goes for news, typically 5 minutes before, at least a good 5 minutes after. Now, if you kind of have a dud of a news event, like, you know, obviously order book went crazy at 8:45, not so much at the, yeah, at 8:45, I was going to say 9 o'clock. You know, we did have order book, you know, if you were looking at Bookmap, you know, my fan started to blow up. Not blow up, but start to make some noise. That was a bad precursor. I had a 1L there. That was from yesterday. So I will typically sit out of the markets during those times. Now, again, if you have a dud event 5 minutes after the news, I think you're pretty good to go. If you had a, you know, I'm not even talking about FOMC, but let's say non-farm payroll, you know, and you get just a huge spike, you might need to give it a good 15 minutes for market conditions to kind of balance out, and for the volume players that got crushed and those that made a huge payday, you got to let them settle out their auctions and their process. And then I would just be very careful of that origination. I think a lot of people get trapped on that. They will say, oh, well, we got a 15-minute level or a 5-minute level here. But you got to really take a look and see why that 15 and 5-minute level was created. Not all 5 15-minute levels are created the same. You got it, bud. You're damn right, Coach Cleats. If I quit after getting knocked down, I would have quit a long time ago, because I have been knocked down as much more than some of you, or I think we all share the same struggles and what we're trying to overcome. You know, I had a few goals for 2026 with my trading, simple ones, and they're not dollar-wise amounts. I don't see a point in that. But what I would like to, what an early goal was for me, which I struggle with, is increasing my targets per se. Not my signal targets, and not the targets that I post here, you know, like, you know, I've got my green lines for my TPs, you know, those I typically like to just use what I see in unbalanced volume. Those always seem to be the best win rate TPs. But there's always that TP that I personally see, and you guys can see as well, I wish I could bring up my trading view chart, but I did not save it upstairs. I'm a mess here after these. So, you know, you get these moves where it hits TP1, hits TP2, and then I see a completely unbalanced volume on the higher time frame. And my goal for 2026 was to target these. Now, not necessarily target with my full position size, but to target them. Because if I feel that they're going there based on what I see in volume, I should kind of be targeting that. And if you guys notice on my NQ, I've got I've got an ATM strategy that I've been pretty happy with. I've got two mainly, depending on the candle. What type of a setup I'm looking at. I've got really two main ATMs that I've been using for like the last couple of weeks, and that's a straight 15-point TP, 15-point stop loss. And then I've got this one that, well, for like, let's say a long entry. I've got 4 contracts to start off with. 3 contracts get sold at 15-point TP. 1 gets sold off at 20-point TP. And the stop loss gets 15 points. So I kind of rotate between those two depending on, like, you know, what the market environment's looking like. But even mentally, even that one contract at the 20, still mentally, I don't necessarily know I've gotten over it yet. So, and you guys saw in the beginning of January, end of December, I was, there was targets that I was looking at for 50 points. And a lot of them would have worked. But it's just the psychology of how I've trained my brain for the last 3 years have been always just base hits. You know, get your 10 points, get your 12 points, and you know, on the NQ, get your 3 points on the ES, and live on a high win rate. And I almost feel like you've got to be one or the other. That's another tricky aspect to this. What I'm talking about is that personally, I feel like you got to choose your lane, because if you've got 2 modes of trading, you know, and I'm talking about day trading, you know, scalping, which is what we're doing here. You know, I'm not talking about swing trading or, you know, investment trading and stuff like that. If you're a day trader and you're trading intraday and you're, you know, trading the moves like how I am, I almost feel like you've got to stay in your lane as to, okay, I'm going to be looking for base hits. And it's either I'm going to be looking for base hits, or I'd like to get that double with the possibility of an infield home run. Or just be happy with the singles. Possibly get a triple, you know, score a few runs in. And, but when you start having both mentalities, then you start getting indecision, because then you're not really super clear on which target you're going to go for. And all it takes is a few bad trades where, you know, you go for the base hit and then the home run appears. You go for the home run and the single, double, and triple appear, and you didn't take any of them. And you take a few trades like that where you kind of get jammed up, and I think you're kind of right back down to square one. You've got a great strategy, you've got a great idea of what the markets want to do, but you're having a problem executing, and when you have an issue executing, strategy, I think, goes to shit. All right, so we got three more minutes here for University of Michigan sentiment report. So I'll kind of take a look at that. Thanks, Juno. Down to the 1 minute time frame here now. Let's kind of see what kind of reaction we get here. So Job just gave a comment. I'm trying to make the switch from Tasty Trades. Oh, I've been there. Been there, done that. Tasty Trades to Ninja Trader today, and I'm playing... I'm assuming it's a bad word, but not necessarily know what bad word it is that starts with an H. With setting up Ninja Trader. Any suggestions? Yeah, so... if I get a couple of minutes here, there's a great like 2 YouTube videos on setting up Ninja Trader. Let's just take a look and see. Okay, now the market's starting to wake up here. Bookmap just started getting a little nutty. All right, no confirmation there. That was a pretty strong rejection there. Let's see what they do at this 5-minute level here. Let's see if we get a footprint confirmation here. A lot of positive delta. First real test this morning of volume, so let's see. A little late on that one. So unfortunately... I was on the higher time frame. Shoot. I want my entry to be somewhere right around here. It's already pretty high up there. Let me just see what if this would have given me a better... Yeah, that would have given me a much better entry. Much better entry. There's another little mental mistaker there this morning. Let's see. This is the first real test of a volume here. You know, and I'm going to reduce my risk here down to where, right around there. If I get knocked out, I get knocked out. So, this trade, actually, this would have been my footprint confirmation right there. Yeah, I was kind of on the wrong footprint chart there. So that was kind of my, I don't think that would have given me my 15 points though. 14 points. All right. Besides the footprint mistake there, that's kind of the first test of volume here this morning, so I'm okay with that. Leave that level there. Now let's see what happens here at this bigger area. So now here I am on the right footprint chart. No. Let's go to the bigger one here. I think I would have been a little bit more teed off if I would have got that lower, the lower footprint confirmation. If I would have missed my target by a point, because that would only have given me 14 points. But this is a 15-minute level here, so I am on a bigger footprint. I'm on the 60 range here, so it's pretty much equivalent. Each footprint's equivalent to about 15 points. All right, so there's the tap of the level. All right, I am in. We'll give this another shot here. I do have the 700s that we kind of have to get through. Just not getting the quick follow throughs, which is never a good sign. When volume's there, it's a quick reaction. So and it's pretty thin below me. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like the 90s. Looks like the 90s is a very good target, so I'm just gonna lace that one few ticks to the upside. 14.25 points. And it looks they got a lot of volume sitting above too, so I mean it's see if the buyers got me or not. I am in an area that is relatively easy for them to balance out. I understand they've got supply above me that they want to tap into. Okay, nice. Nice. Would have got my 15 points, but I'm happy with the 14. 14.25 points on that one. So nice footprint confirmation there on the 15-minute level. So on the 15-minute level, I do like to go up to the 60 range on my footprint. You know, on the 5-minute, I will typically stay on that 20 on the 20 range, which is equivalent to 5 points. It's easy to understand. 15-point footprint, 15-minute level, 5-minute, usually a 5-minute level, 5-point footprint. So that's pretty easy to understand there. And all right, so practically back to break even. Yep. Anybody get that trade? Yes, sir, Keith says. Like the confidence. 1 winner, 1 W, 1 L. All right, good play. 15-minute levels are always going to be stronger. And to be honest with you, I probably could have made this work on the 682. Let me just go back here really quick, just for shits and giggles. All right, so this is 5-minute level. If I take a look at this footprint confirmation right here, we did retrace back a little bit, so I probably would have been really close to an entry right there. But let's see. This was the lowest point right there before tapping out. And then the nice thing about this trade is that my risk would have been only like 7 points, maybe 5 points. So kind of a mistake on my part there, but it's okay. I could beat myself up right there. Puts me at 14.75 points. You know, and unless you know I take a market entry, and the market entry I might have gotten a little bit better of a fill. You know, I would have needed about a tick or two, so I could have made this trade work, but it was dicey. You know, 10-point target, easy. All right. So now I could take this shaded off area. Still gonna keep that 15-minute level there. And then let's see what else we can, what's gold doing? What's gold doing? Not much. Yeah, let's see if how I can show this better. Never really used these trend channels. Let's try it. Never really used this much on NinjaTrader before. Let's see if this works. All right, so you're obviously in an uptrend. Very easy to spot. Pretty easy to spot in gold for a long time. But as you're going up, okay, first of all, the first step here, masterclass moment here. Do you have any 5-minute levels? At the bare fuck minimum, do you have any 5-minute levels? Well, you know, you can say, okay, there's a 5-minute level. Did that get balanced out? Yes, it did. Okay. So they balanced this 5-minute level already. Could have probably been a nice trade there because that would have been fresh, nice impulsive move, break of structure, everything I'm looking for. All right, then to the upside, is there any 5-minute levels? Okay, well, yeah, I mean, this fits one aspect. Actually, this fits 0 aspect of my levels. No break of structure. Not really an impulsive move, just staying right back in the range. And the next candle tapped right into that exact level. So that's a no-go. No level there. Again. Any other 5-minute levels there? Nothing. And you move this. I don't even know if I can move it. Beautiful. Look at me. I'm learning something new every day. I don't even know how to... Oh, there we go. Sweet. To be honest with you, I've never used the trendline tool in... I mean, I don't even use trendline tools at all. But anyways, any 5-minute levels on the way up here? Okay, so this one kind of broke structure here. But if you were to draw this 5-minute level here, this next candle took out all the volume for this move. So the move did not originate from here at the 4907.1. Volume did not originate from here. It was here. But for the move to sustain itself, it needed to come right back in and tap into that exact level. You learn this, telling you your trading will improve dramatically. Okay, so this would have been a clean level right here, even though this is kind of a doji, but let's just call this we'll call this a green candle. Just by the way the body was, but it was a doji. So, take it for what it's worth. There would have been my level, in between the two bodies. The topmost part. Did that get respected well? Sure it did, because nothing on the move to the downside here balanced anything out right here. There's nothing here. No wicks, did not come back, and I'm telling you, you learn that, which I teach in my masterclass. It will help you out. It'll help your trading out tremendously. And then it kind of keeps you away from these what I consider to be tough places to trade, unless you're, you know, if you're trading an EMA, if you're trading a trend line. Yeah, there's a case for every strategy. I just don't personally, I don't buy into what do I say so it's not going to piss people off, but I'll just leave it at that. There's multiple strategies that you could trade. And whatever, I will say this, whatever strategy that you do trade, if you can somehow incorporate volume, now you're talking. All right, so let's take a look at the NQ, because let's just see what we got brewing right here. All right, so let's jump to the 5. 1 doesn't look good. Nope. So we got a 5-minute level right here. Load 5-minute level. Nice little break of structure there, though. Okay, let's take a look at the 15 minute. Nothing in the 15 minute. You can see we balanced this out pretty well here, which is exactly what I see. I actually see the possible move up here. All right, let's refine this a little bit. What do we see? What do we see? No. This is no bueno. No bueno. And I'll give you the reasons why. Now, if you jump to the lower time frame, okay, you would have had a 1 minute level right here at the 623 that got balanced out. This level here got balanced out. This all got balanced out. So the 1 minute looks like shit. 5 minute. You do have a case on the 5 minute. So the 5 minute does give you the impulsive move to the upside. Does break structure. So good things, all positive things. You move to the 15 minute. 15 minutes shows a much different picture. What happened at this 5 minute level? What did the market do? It was a very good level to start off with. Yeah, not on the 1, but on the 5 minute it was a great level to start off with. But the 15 minute, you could just see that they already tapped into this volume sitting right there. So normally I would just delete this off my chart because to me this is not a true good level. But mechanically, if you're just charting up your chart, this would be a valid 5 minute level without question. But in context, you can see why this would not work. Well, I say will not work, but the market could always react there. Nelson, 15 points on that TP. Good job, man. Going back to job, so I just want to help you with this tasty trade situation, which I think you're going to really like. I have a personal opinion on NinjaTrader. I actually like the charting software a lot. I know a lot of people have very different opinions. You know, there's a lot of different platforms out there that are very popular. But there's a video, and if I get a chance, it's a little hard for me to scan YouTube because I'm streaming to YouTube, but if I get a chance, I'll copy the link of the video that I thought was fantastic to kind of set up your charts, and also to kind of learn the ATM strategies on how to set those. It's pretty simple, but in the beginning it might just look a little daunting, I guess. All right, now let's look at what else we have above us. All right, let's see what's going on in this shaded area under box number 1. Okay, that's a nice little area. So let's start on we'll go from each time frame. We'll go to the 1 to the 5 into the 15. I need to add a scroll instead of having to do this. I can do it. It's just gonna probably throw off the formatting on my chart. That's not what I wanted to look at. Probably shouldn't be doing this right now, and it's kind of annoying. It's easier for me to. That's why I chart on the side charts, because for me it's just 10 times easier. What the fuck am I looking for? Jesus, I forgot what I was doing here. Oh, the scale. I think that's in properties. See, show scroll bar. So now that threw that off. See, that gives me that little ugly thing right down there. And I've got OCD, so now I'm going to have to fix that. Fixing things on the fly in OBS is not a good idea. But, okay. Let's scroll now. Much easier. Alright, that's price action originated from. Alright, let's just kind of go through the steps here. Any 1 minute level. Okay, so your 1 minute level would have sat there. You know, break of structure. Structure being broken here. What did the next candle do to make this move? It balanced out volume. Okay. So we know on the 1 minute there's nothing super clean. Let's take a look at the 5 minute. Well, might not give us enough time to look at this one, but that's okay. We could be patient. There's no hurries. All right, do we got a 5 minute level? We sure do. Right here. Impulsive move, break of structure, nothing wicking back into that level. I'll load this up as a 5 minute for right now, and then we'll switch over to the 15. Okay, so our 15-minute level sits now up here. Is the 5-minute level validated? Yes. Nothing wicking. Does not. This looks great. Super impulsive move. So the 5-minute and the 15-minute level look great. So what needs to happen now? Now you gotta make yourself a bigger box here. And these are those scenarios when you see that I have two shaded areas in the same box. This is why. Because you kind of have now two levels of interest here on this trade. Now, does it mean that you have to trade both or any of them? No. But if you get a confirmation, which one on the volume profile looks a little better? The 15-minute looks a little better. Right? I mean, that's pretty classic. This one's pretty classic as well. This is exactly what I'm looking for in my setups. But you know that the bigger meat's right here. And then now let's see what I can find here. Should be interesting. All right. I see what I see now. Okay, that's what these look like right now. So if I get a confirmation in these shaded areas, I'll take the trade. Sorry guys, let me just do this here. This make life a little easier. Good job. Make This one's ready to go. Good job. Back to the regular chart. All right, hopefully you guys understood that. Mini masterclass session here on a Friday. Peter, for the footprint confirmations, you do need the volume plus subscription in Ninja. I do have also level 2 with Ninja. I already have it, so I can't answer your question if you 100% need it. I've had conflicting members and viewers of YouTube tell me otherwise, so I think with just the volume plus you get the footprints, but I have the volume plus the not plus and the level 2 data. So that might just be a call into NinjaTrader, their customer support line, and just verify. Because I know I've had some people say you can get NinjaTrader Prop now for free with order flow. Okay, so Morgan just said NinjaTrader Prop now for free with order flow. Nordic Rob, can we watch the stream in full display mode afterwards? You can. The only problem is, Nordic, is that the gallery also shows up with my display. So what you need to do is you kind of have to maximize it. Like if you're on a phone or a mobile device, what I do is I just switch it to landscape mode, and then you'll be able to see my my screen. But it also includes the gallery, and no, I don't have the capability of changing that. I'm using the service that I'm using for the portal. I'm using their live stream software, so I have no way of customizing that. Obviously, you could always look at my. You could always go onto YouTube and watch the recording of my live stream. So you have multiple. You know, the nice thing is with the portal, it also records my pre-session chat with you guys 30 minutes prior to the market open, and then obviously the 45 minutes afterwards, or half an hour depending on how the day goes. Pretty interesting here. They could come right back here now. It could come right back here and retest this 717 level. That is a very, 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 very strong possibility. So be on the lookout for that guy. Or should I open up an Ampy trade? Oh, trade account. Peter, I'll be honest with you. If I answered your question, I'd probably be guessing. Because I don't know. Since I have it already. Since I already have it, it's hard for me to tell you, like, if the prop firm provides it, if it's going to work, because it's already working on my NinjaTrader, and that's really the only platform I use. I mean, minus obviously TopStepX when I take some trades there. Sorry, my man, I can't answer your question with 100% certainty. So the IB is sitting here at the 25,763. IB has just not been reacting extremely well. We are going into some volume right at the 65s. Seems kind of consolidating here, but we'll see here. So strong footprint with a lot of negative delta. So that's kind of a continuation for me there, but we'll see. You know, that's a very conflicting footprint to this one right here. You know, this would have been a footprint confirmation, but this is a very strong confirmation to the upside here. So I don't, just to me, doesn't look like a very valid setup there at all. And you guys will start to pick up on that as well, the continuation on footprints. All right, so Nelson just confirmed that he does have a footprint chart with Take Profit Trader. So there you go. There's your workaround. Nordic, hopefully I answered your question there. Didn't update that. I should have done that. I'll be right back, guys. I'll just do a few updates here. Guys, I'm gonna be right back. Let me just refill my my coffee here. I'm out. Be back in about 3 minutes. If you haven't, hit the like on the stream. I appreciate it. All right, I'm back. So not only did I get my coffee, but my beautiful wife made me a very, very nice veggie omelet. I pretty much scarfed down, but it's delicious. And I was able to go see so Gold won this morning, and Oil Session 2 won this morning. That was nice. All right, Key, what do we got here? Rob, what do you think when a confirmation comes back with a 1 or 2? That's a great question. I'll get into that one. And then, man, I just did a 60 range on MNT. I'm assuming MNQ, and saw a bunch of confirmation candles going both ways at the POC. I think I understand your question. I understand the first part. Second one, I'm not necessarily so sure. And remember, the footprint candles, which I teach in my volume master class. You can't trade those blind. You have to trade them at 15-minute levels, 5-minute levels. That's why I traded at the initial balance, which has been tough lately. But I did point out today on the initial balance, there was a footprint confirmation, but you kind of needed to see the context of it, because maybe the previous one or the one prior to that, so 2 footprints over, you had a green footprint candle with extreme positive delta. So it works in the flip side as well. So I mean, that's a confirmation in what I would call a continuation footprint to the upside, which is exactly what you got there. So I saw that footprint, and then we saw a footprint right after that gave you a footprint confirmation to go down, but it was tiny. It was tiny in comparison to what you saw 3 footprints earlier, 2 footprints earlier, which is a continuation to the upside. So that definitely gave me all the conviction there to not take the IB trade. And then Key's got a great question about footprints as far as, let's see, let me bring one up here. Let's see if we can get a good example. Might be hard to get a good example, but let me see if I could spot something that... So you're not going to really see it because I'm on the higher one. It's a little hard to show you. I don't have the super small one on here. I probably should just get the small one up here as well. I've the way I had it kind of done when I originally designed my screen so you guys could see on my stream, I would go into this split view, which is personally to me kind of hampered my trading a little bit, just because I'm looking at this exact same footprint that you're looking at, and I'm only seeing 4, so I don't see the full context of all of the candles. That's why I've kind of switched over to my main screen also being on the footprint. But the question was, what happens when you get a footprint confirmation? Let's switch this over to the ES. When you get a footprint confirmation, but it's a really small number, I think what you have to look at is you have to look at the context. Gold was a winner this morning, Travis. Yes. Sorry, guys. I just knocked into my mic. You kind of have to look at the context of the previous footprints. So if you've got 200, or let's say you have 130 positive delta, You know what? I'm gonna do it one better, Key, because I think it's a very good question. It's a really good teaching moment. So I'm gonna draw it out on a draw thing. I just kind of want to see here really quickly what the ES does here at this 15-minute level at the 69.59. ES has got a lot of action here at the 69.60s, so I'm getting good confirmation on my level 2 book map. Let's see if we get any type of footprint confirmation here. And then what did they leave? Did they leave anything? Look for targets here right now. That's unbalanced for sure. And then we'll see what we can find a little bit closer once we tap in here. We did get a good footprint confirmation right there. I think I've got enough conviction here to take a trade. I think I'm gonna pop this guy. Let's combine these two. And let's bring him right above the volume profile, see if we can get some protection there. And then I'm going to move this guy to about 3 points and then move my smaller target to 4.25. So it looks kind of like that. I really feel like they got to balance out at least the 69.52s. It's actually where my target should be at. Let's see. Switch over to the NQ really quickly. Feel like we got a decent amount of protection here, so I'm okay going into drawdown there just a little bit. We'll see. All right, now we're coming up to a 5-minute level here on the NQ. So I'll drop down to here and then let's bring this up. All right, let's see what we can get here. Let's see what the NQ... What have you left here, buddy? I've done a pretty good job of balancing stuff out. Big target right here. All right, so the ES just tapped into the 15-minute level. Gonna be a dicey footprint confirmation here. I'd like to see it tap in. That's a good footprint confirmation for me. I would rather see them tap in here. Let's take a look at the ES. Down about 1.5 points now. 2 points. All right, I'm okay with that. Don't think I'm going to get a footprint confirmation here. Nothing there yet. So the ES can go to about the 63s. Where's my stop at? 62s. I don't want to give it much more than that. Decent protection here till about the 63s, which puts me right above my stop. Okay, so let's say could want to just balance this stuff out. I'm okay giving this, we'll give this to the 63s. Fuck it, we'll give it to the 64s. All right. If they get through there, then obviously the moves to the top side. And I got that one wrong, but at least I'm putting myself where I see protection. And then let's see if we can get anything here on the NQ. A lot of positive delta here. If this flips red, then I will be short. Kind of doing a staggered approach here. Again. I gotta take it. Let's reduce risk. And what do they got a target here for the NQ? Do they have anything? That looks super inviting. Small risk here. I've got about 10 points of risk. Shit, I don't really see anything really great besides the 794, so I'll let that one play out. Now we got 2 trades here that we can keep our eyes on here. Not looking good on the NQ either. Did get a nice reaction there, but if they take that wick out of the 826, then I'm obviously out. All right. Those are on the NQ. Down about 3 points on the ES trade. Like I said, the 63s, which sits right around here, that's my last layer. I mean, they break through that, then that might be the origination to the move to the downside, but I can't take that much risk. I'm not risking that much capital. I'll say buyers are doing a really good job here of clearing this all out. So they got through the wall on the volume profile. Now let's see if they've done enough here. All right, so initial stop would have gotten knocked out there. We'll see if this is the last, this last layer here gives me any protection. Yeah, they're doing a really good job. All right, I'm out. They got me. They got me. Alright, so let's get rid of this guy. Alright, let's update the... Yeah. Love that trade though. I mean, I'll take that setup every single day. That was perfect layer of defense on the volume profile, 15-minute level, volume 2 confirmed. My opinion at this point would be, well, they still got targets up above me. They still got a few more targets. But this could play out again to be a big drop to the downside. This order book looks very thin to the downside. All right, so we've used up 2 bullets here today. I'll give myself 1 more bullet and see what we can do. 1 win, 2 loss here. Or 3 loss. 3 loss, 1 win. So down 2R for the day. Seems to have been the magic number for my trading the last 3 days. Let's go look at the NQ. So get rid of this. I'll keep this level there. So this 25,867. We've got a 15-minute level there. So we'll see if we can get price action to come up here. But I do see a bigger down move in play. Do we see where my stop was? You see where the market came right up to? You could have said, Rob, why are you moving your stop loss up? You know, you're making your loss even worse. I'm only looking at places to put my stop where I don't think that I can get hit. That still make relatively sense to me. And talk about unfortunate, but that was right on the tick. Right on the tick was my stop. So I don't believe in just random stop losses. You know, I mean, there's got to be a rhyme or reason to why, where you put the stop loss. Eventually you get to a point where the trade obviously doesn't make any sense anymore. Where you're going into a negative risk to reward. Morgan, I kind of feel the same way as you. Last 3 days have been a grind, for sure. Sometimes I just like watching it to re-emphasize the hurt. This is trading though, man. I mean, it's a game of ticks. It's a game of points. You know, you try to put your best edge that you can, and this shit will happen. I also very strongly believe for every one of these that happens, you know, you miss your stop by a tick and you take full take profit. So it kind of just, it'll balance itself out eventually. Right now it just feels like everything's kind of working against you, but it's not. And I think if the NQ can break through pretty much to the 800s here, you got a pretty strong move to the downside. I don't really see. Don't really see any short opportunity here yet. So pretty similar trading pattern as yesterday as far as the losses are concerned, but totally different mind shift for me personally as to the trades and the losses today than versus the losses from yesterday. Big change in my personal psychology. One, because every trade, maybe besides that second NQ trade, where I was on the higher footprint where I should have been on the lower. Besides that, I feel like I executed every trade right, and you know the setups, in my opinion, were the right ones to take. Followed my rules. So for me personally, I'm down $1,500, which is never fun. But as far as how I traded to that loss is much different for me today than it was yesterday. And I was also coming from eight straight days of green days. I took a break even day, which to me felt like the biggest grind of the entire week. And then pretty much down 4R in the last 2 days here. 2R yesterday, 2R today. Really 1.5 R down today because I'm down 1,500. I consider every R about $1,000, which is the average size of my trades. So you kind of have to take the good with the bad. It's part of trading. If you beat yourself up too much, it just makes it that much harder to get back on the wheel the next day or to take the next setup. You know, I mean, you've got an NQ setup here on another 15-minute level at the 25,867 that I really like. So, psychology of this game is extremely important. And I knew that I was in a bad headspace yesterday, especially after my trading. After my trading, I was just not in a good headspace. I was beating myself up over the mistakes that I made. Nordic with the 20 range, there was a confirmation. On which trade, Nordic? Are you thinking about the IB trade? The IB gave you one, but it also gave you a very conflicting footprint too before that. You had about 130. If you go back to your chart, you're going to see the footprint before that one, either the one previous to it or two previous to it. You saw a green footprint candle with negative like 200 delta or 180 delta, which is a confirmation to the upside, not to the downside. So then you did get a confirmation to go short 2 candles later, but that was nowhere near as strong as that continuation to the upside, which is exactly what I said when I saw it. I'm like, you know, this now has room to go straight up, which it obviously did. I guess I still would have been sweating this trade out. When they say trading's hard, it's gonna... These are the days. These are the days that'll test you as a trader. These are the days. December tested me as a trader. But if you can't take the bad, you'll never be there for the good. Can't stomach the losses, you'll never be able to enjoy the wins. If gold's been doing anything that... Oh, 100% key. That just compounded the effect yesterday. That compounded it. I even looked at in Tradevate, and her entry was at the 75. It wasn't at the 25. So, I don't know. Not thinking about it. At least we had a winner in the family. My wife also has this uncanny ability to take every winning setup of mine and somehow picking up kids, or signal comes in, she's not in front of the computer and loses. She does, and she's not in that trade. For some people it's a grind. For other people it comes easy. Juno, it's hard, man. So Juno's got a good question. He said, Rob, how do you stop yourself from revenge trading? I'll tell you one thing, and I've said this a lot of times, but the mechanical strategies that I traded for such a long time were extremely rule-based strategies, where it gave you an exact time when to take the trade. It gave you exactly what your entry was going to be, what your TP and your stop loss was. There was nothing left in those strategies for discretion. So it was completely, it took all of your trading out of it and all of the bad habits out of it. And I traded like that for 1.5 years. And that alone got me completely out of revenge trading. I knew what my risk was going into the day. I knew on average what I could make on a trade. You know, obviously oil and gold can vary a little bit. Gold seems to be max position size every day, so it's not a, you know, you could pretty much gauge what your risk and your take profit is. But that way of trading for me gave me a shit ton of discipline. Gave me a shit ton of discipline. So I will forever be very, very thankful to those strategies that I traded in. Because that still is in me. I still feel that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a perfect trader. I don't have perfect psychology. I was mad as shit yesterday. I was upset with my trading. I don't think it really affected my trades that I took directly after that mistake. But it's in me, you know, it's in me for sure. And I know this next thing is going to sound extremely corny, but this is the truth. I love trading. I have a passion for trading so much that the way I look at it is that I don't want to do anything that is going to want to sabotage that dream and passion I have of it. I guess it's the best way to say it. If you're trading strictly to just extract money from the markets, trading can get to be just like a regular 9-to-5 job. It can get kind of mundane, not exciting. If you're just looking to extract money from the market. But if you really have a passion for the market and kind of understanding what the market's trying to do, what it wants to do, to the best that you can, I just don't want to ever put myself in a position where I'm done. And the second that you feel that you're hitting a buy or sell button and your thought process is, well, I'm either going to blow my account or I'm going to save my account. You know, and it doesn't have to be a cash account. It could be a funded account. Shit, it could be an eval account. I mean, I don't put as much weight on what I'm saying on evals than I do on funded accounts. But if you ever get to that position where that button is going to cause you to blow an account, you just kind of have to stop. It's either you stop or you reposition yourself in a position size that gives you another opportunity. Eventually, if you're a bad trader and you've got a consecutive string of bad losses that happens to every single trader, even the best in the world, you know, you can't avoid blowing an account or losing, you know, capital. That's just part of the game. It's part of the business. But if you're ever, you know, you could even put a little post-it note on your monitor. You know, if I hit this buy or sell button, is this going to blow my account? And if the answer to that question is ever yes, you should not take that trade. And at the worst, if you're just so impulsive that you have to trade, just position size down. You're down 4R for the day, and you want to take a trade that's going to get you back down to 0R. I can tell you right off the bat, it took you 4 trades to get to negative 4R. What's the likelihood of one trade getting you back to 0R? Not very good. You take one more I mean, I wouldn't, but you take one more trade to go negative 5R for the day, which I would not recommend. And you win. Okay, now you're at 3R. Take another win, take another loss or a win. You're either right back to where you started at the 4R, or now you're back down to 2R, and work your way down from there. But going for the home runs, and it'll work. Trust me, they'll work. There'll be trades. I've done it. I've done it many times where it works. It's the worst possible outcome for a trader is when they take that Hail Mary trade to save their account, to save their funded account, to save their cash account, and it wins. It's the worst possible thing that a trader can go through, because now you've trained your brain to say, well, shit, if I'm fearful and I am in a position where I'm going to blow an account now, and I could just throw out this Hail Mary pass, you know, it's just like football. They throw that Hail Mary pass in the touchdown where there's 13 people all trying to fight for that ball. Yeah, you see the highlights. You see the highlights of when they catch it to win a game, but you don't see the 90% of the time that the ball gets batted down. So it's a very, very tough, it's a tough place to be. I didn't think today was going to get into a deep psychology session on trading, but that's what it turned into. All right. And gold is still just pumping straight up. Trickier. It's a tricky spot here in gold. There's just not much. There's not much data to go off of here. Not a lot. Gotta make another distinction here for a 1 minute level. That's the only thing that gold gives you. Gold ain't gonna give you 5 and 15 minute levels very often. Well, if you gave me one more tick, I would have been able to take TP1, which would have been my big position size there. I think TP2 is right on the 69.52. That's the game of trading. One tick. That's all it takes. Let's see what the what was my stop at? 69.64. And this candle came up to high was 69.64, right to the exact Tikkamajima. Not much I could have done there with NQ, obviously. All right, guys. Wish it was more of a profitable Friday, but heading into the weekend, down another probably 1.5 hour for the day. But I feel great of my headspace, so I will be looking for some setups here, continuing on. I've got this NQ at the 25,867 I'm interested in, and I'm interested at the 25,717. So I've got both of those areas that I've got marked off that I'll obviously take a look and see if I can get a few good trades left here in the afternoon or early morning. So with that, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to try to stay warm. And we'll be back at it Monday. If you haven't, please like the stream. It's the only thing I ask for, and I extremely appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.